we have a beautiful day here to cook what I think is going to be a very beautiful dish with a very special guest, Alice Zaslavsky. Thank you so much for coming on and cooking with us.
I thought you were going to say a very beautiful guest, Michael.
Well, that goes without saying.
That's implied.
That
You're
goes
right.
without
You're
saying.
right.
Except much more beautiful than the host, that's for sure. So, look, Alice, I love your cooking and I love what you do with the beautiful produce here at Montague because you've been working with them for a while. You're an ambassador for them. And you really do some really exciting things with some of their amazing products like these apples.
It's very easy for me to do exciting things with the produce because this is some of the best produce you'll find in Australia. And these Ambrosia apples are just, not only are they delicious, but they're so aromatic that I think you really don't have to do much to them. And in fact, you can use them almost like a vegetable as much as a fruit. So I'm making a salsa.
I like that. Yeah, nice.
So, in fact, when I say I mean you are making a salsa with apples.
I'm fine with that.
So what I'm going to get you to do is cube a couple of those Ambrosia apples. And because they've got that beautiful variegated red and yellow skin, we're going to keep that on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, keep it on and just sort of freshen it up a little bit with some pea shoots.
Nice.
Which you just kind of, whatever you have, micro herb-wise, if you're growing herbs in the garden, you can use those too. We're going to use some oregano as well. But as far as the pea shoots, you can get your kids to tear these instead of cutting them. Just
love it.
Like so. That's a good sound.
Isn't it?
Sound. So, and then what you're creating is essentially like a little bit of a textural element for the hero of the dish, aside from the Ambrosia apples.
Of course.
Which is halloumi.
I love halloumi.
I can't say enough good things about halloumi. This cheese, you know, I've actually judged cheese before, yes. Yeah. And if you've ever, have you ever judged cheese?
I haven't. I need to.
So it's 8 hours of cheese eating, and you spit the cheese. I know this is food television, you shouldn't be, but you spit the cheese out. But when it comes to halloumi,
you don't.
I couldn't, because you grill it to judge it, because that's what brings out its best. So that's what we're going to do. So let's grab some extra virgin olive oil, Michael Weldon.
There you go.
And you're just going to slather the halloumi in.
I mean, they're good mates, aren't they?
They are very good friends, both Mediterranean treats.
Well.
It's crazy to think that, you know, 50 years ago, you would find extra virgin olive oil at the chemist, not at the supermarket.
Yeah, right?
We've come a long way.
We're doing better.
We have. Now, one thing with halloumi is that one complaint is that sometimes it can stick. So if you are worried that halloumi is going to stick to your pan, just use some baking paper.
Yeah.
Bit of baking paper, and on goes the halloumi, and you want to listen for the sizzle. And if you don't hear it, crank the heat.
Nice. I do the same thing with fish sometimes. If I'm not sure about how non-stick my pan is, a little bit of baking paper underneath some fish to get crispy skin works really well.
It does.
Very smart.
Yeah. That's some fine cubing that you're doing there.
Yeah, I'm excited about this dish. So now, Alice, talk to us. You've written a lot of cookbooks. What's the key to writing a great cookbook? Because you've got like an encyclopedia of fruit and vegetables, which is just amazing. I've told you this before. I really like it. I think it's almost like a guide to these vegetables and these fruits, which is really beautiful. You spent a lot of time on it, I imagine. I
spent years on it. I think ultimately cookbooks these days are just as much a reference guide as memoir. You know, they're a time capsule. And, you know, In Praise of Veg, I'm really proud of. I'm glad that you like it too.
It's a beautiful thing.
But it's stories, really. There's a lot of stories in there and a lot of dishes that my daughter's now 4.5, but when I wrote that, she was 10 months when we were shooting it. And you got her little, you know, chubby starfish hands in the shots, and she eats all of this food. In fact, she loves this dish.
Yeah, so this is from the book, or parts of this from the book?
No, this is something that I developed for Montague. You know, the apples, the fruit here inspires me so much. So when they sent me the Ambrosia apple to taste for the first time, the first thing that I tasted and smelt was the honey. And I thought, how could I bring that into a dish?
I like that.
And it made perfect sense to make a honey Ambrosia salsa to go with cheese that loves honey.
Magic.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Tear, tear, tear.
Tear, tear, tear.
Work harder.
Sorry, yes.
Okay, and then because the apple has so much aroma and because honey, again, is just such a simple addition, the only thing you need is some lemon juice and maybe a little bit of salt, and then you're good to go.
Oh, beautiful. So, Alice, these beautiful apples, I know Montague grow apples all over Australia, but where do these guys come from?
Ambrosia is a gorgeous variety that you'll find between March and September. And it is grown in quite a few states, but places like the Huon Valley, Batlow in New South Wales, even the Adelaide Hills, which...
Close to my heart.
Close to your heart. Do you remember driving past apple orchards when you were a kid?
100%. Yeah, Parndorf and things like that. You literally go and there'd be apples for sale on the side of the road. And so we'd stop and pick some up. It was, it's sort of growing up in Adelaide.
Beautiful.
And then cherries in the middle of summer, you do the same thing. They'd just be like buckets of cherries. So it's a beautiful part of the world to grow stuff. And
you just reminded me, when I was in Hahndorf, there's a little cheese shop there.
Yes.
And they serve apples on cheese on apples.
I like that.
Cheese and apples are very good friends. So, you know, as far as segues go, once this is grilled on both sides, they're going to make friends.
Absolutely.
They're going to make friends with anybody that eats them. And I like to say that anyone can make friends with salad, and this is an apple salad.
Absolutely.
And it's delicious.
I like that. I like even like a few slices of apple on a cheese board.
Oh, yes.
You know, just especially with like something like this, like a fatty cheese that's cut through it, or a sharp cheddar, just, you know, a really nice bit of apple with it. It's beautiful.
Even a blue with the ambrosia, beautiful.
I love that.
Anywhere you'd put honey, you can put an ambrosia apple.
I like that's a good way to think of it.
Let's get some honey in there.
Let's do it. Good drizzle.
Good drizzle. Nice. And then some salt.
Awesome.
Again, salty, sweet balance.
Yep.
From a height.
From a height. Because Ainsley did it, so we do it.
Exactly. And then toss together. And you can pop some olive oil onto this, but what I'd say is if you're serving this sort of to guests in a few hours, keep the olive oil off until you're ready to serve.
Beautiful. So we'll do a little drizzle now. Just let the apple shine.
Yeah.
I love it. All right.
Beautiful. Let's get grilling.
Alice, this looks amazing.
It's ready to knock your socks off, Michael Weldon. Okay.
How good. That colour's beautiful.
And see how I'm draining it just a little bit?
Any excess oil?
Just excess oil, yeah, and because that'll come off on the plate as well.
Yep.
And then it's up to you. So I could eat this whole block myself.
Yep.
So you can choose to slice it or you can choose to serve it whole.
Beautiful.
In my instance, I might even slice it for you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Make a bit of room on there for you.
And think of it like slicing a steak.
Yes.
So, you know,
like kind of carve it.
Yeah, carve it. Carve it like a cheese.
And that'll just make it easier to actually portion out when you're sharing it too.
Exactly.
Oh, a little finger of halloumi.
Yeah.
And I like it. You haven't cooked it to death, which sometimes people do with halloumi, especially when they cut it small. I like that you keep it big and then cut it afterwards. I think that's really smart because, you know, when you cook all that moisture out of halloumi, it goes squeaky and it's the worst thing you can do to it.
Yeah.
I love that noise. It is. So I always think cook halloumi, and any time you're cooking cheese in a fry pan, cook it whole and then cut it or pull it apart afterwards is always my thing.
Some oil for me.
There you go. This is brilliant.
And again, you're thinking about the golden colour of the oil, the golden colour of the halloumi, and of course the golden bi-colour of the ambrosia apple. And then on that goes. So in fact, I'm going to get you to pop some of that on the bottom. This looks great.
It looks really beautiful. These colours, like, you know, talk about the apple being available from, you know, March through till September. It's kind of a bit autumnal, a bit beautiful.
Yes.
Fallen leaves. I'll let you finish it off.
And then a little bit of that on top.
Oh, Alice, this is yum.
And again, a little bit of dressing.
Nice. So that's just some of the juice that's kind of just come out with the salt and the oil.
Yes.
Yeah, lovely.
It's like a little savoury apple juice.
Oh, this is excellent.
It keeps tumbling in. There we go.
Perfect.
And then a little bit more olive oil on top, and we're good to go.
There you go, just a little drizzle. That looks fantastic.
And a cracker pepper while it's here.
Love it.
Done. And as you can see, you know, play with what you've already got. You don't need to go out and buy pea shoots if you've already got mint growing in the garden. Same with oregano. Just use what you've got.
Perfect.
But these ambrosia apples are really worth seeking out.
Yeah, so find them, get a bit of halloumi, and then you've got a really delicious dish. Alice, what an amazing dish, using these beautiful Montague ambrosia apples here at the beautiful orchard. I mean, it doesn't get much better. Thank you so much for cooking for us and sharing this beautiful dish.
Always a pleasure, Michael.